Today, this is chapter 8.6. Chapter 8.6. Right there's your homework. Right here's your first problem. Yep, I'll give it to you again.
What's up with homework nowadays?
Some breaks over.
She's becoming.
I feel bad for you.
You at least gave us worksheets so we didn't have to take the book home.
You don't have to take a book home. Get online.
Yeah.
Now, the difference between tonight's lesson and last night's lesson. We all listening. Last night's lesson was hard because you had to take and add two fractions or subtract two fractions together and get a common denominator. Agree? Tonight, we have equal signs. We have already done this lesson. Way back at the beginning of the year. Way back at the beginning of the year. Remember I said I want you to make this ugly thing pretty. My definition of pretty was no fractions and no parentheses. Do you remember that? Do you remember that? I mean, it was very long. Because sometimes we revisit things to make sure that we know where the restrictions are. Well, and math, we repeat ourselves off. So, with that said, are we paying attention? Our game plan today is to eliminate our denominator. Eliminate our denominator means we want it to go bye-bye. Bye-bye. Right? Right? We want it to go bye-bye. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to look at every one of these denominators, and we're going to say, well, what is my LCD? My LCD is 6. As soon as we find our LCD, we then are going to go straight to our domain restrictions. Our domain restrictions are going to come from our LCD, not equaling 0. So that means 6 cannot be 0. Well, is that ever going to be an issue? No. Good? I figured if I waited long enough, you'd get it. Oh, wait, hold that thought.
He's kind of a creeper, just saying.
Okay. So now, every time we find our LCD, then we're going to go straight to domain restrictions. Our domain restrictions are going to be our LCD not equal to 0. 6 never equals 0, ever, does it? Never. So do we have any restrictions going on here? That's not relevant, so do I have any restrictions? Can X be anything it wants to be? Yes, X can be anything it wants to be. I want you to look at where X is located at right now. On the top. Is there a reason that there are no restrictions? If there's no variable in the denominator, will you ever have any restrictions? No. No. So, with that said, now what we're going to do is we're going to take our LCD and we're going to multiply the entire equation by our LCD. On both the left and the right hand side. On both the left and the right hand side. Now, when we did this at the beginning of the year, I told you guys to do your division first, remember? Since you were dealing with smaller numbers. So what we did is we took 6 and we divided it by 3 to give you 2, and we pulled down the jump. The jump was the numerator. 6 divided by 2 is 3, and bring down the jump, which is the 1 from the numerator. 6 divided by 6 is 1, and bring down the jump from the numerator. Do we all understand that so far? The whole point of multiplying by the LCD is to get rid of the denominator. Do we understand that? Yes or no? Okay. Now, what should I do here? Distribute. Get rid of parentheses. 2x times 2 is going to be 4x. Minus 3 is going to be equal to 2x plus 5. Ain't that there pretty? Ain't that right there pretty? Forgot no parentheses. Forgot no fraction. I've got some issues with that there grammar. Okay, now what do? Subtract 2x. That's going to give me 2x minus 3 is equal to 5. Add the 3. Yes, I'm going to go fast because this is not something that I need to reteach. X is equal to 4.
Right.
You can do whatever you want.
Where you still-
I always take the smaller x over first. Then I deal with the other number. You'll get the same answer if you can add, subtract, multiply, and divide correctly. There's the struggle. Now, my question to you is this possible for an answer? Well, I'm going to look to my domain and say, do I have any restrictions in my domain? No. So is this allowed to be that value? Yes. You know what we just checked for? We checked for what we call extraneous solutions. Solutions that appear to algebraically work out, but when you plug and chuck them back in, the left-hand side is not equal to the right-hand side. You know, I'm not a plug and chugger. Anybody in here like to plug and chug all the time? That sounds like a lot of work to me, and I am a very lazy person, and I avoid that at all costs. Statement? We all do, right? So the way we avoid that is by looking at our domain and saying, look, there are no restrictions. If there are no restrictions, that means that this lovely little answer down here is always going to be a true statement on the left and the right-hand side. Therefore, I do not have an extraneous solution right now. Do we understand that? Yeah. 14. Write it down.
Is part of our homework tonight?
No,
Sure.
we're doing on.
Sure.
Is it the odd?
Like all of it.
Okay. Now, where is the x located at?
What do you want?
So if it's located in the denominator, am I going to have restrictions?
Yes.
Yes. Do we all understand that?
Yes.
So I need to look at my lovely little denominators, 2x, 3x, and that's it. And I need to ask myself, what is my LCD?
Good. True.
6x. So what are my domain restrictions? That's the LCD not equal to 0, so that means 6x cannot be 0. Which means what can x not be?
6. Negative 6 times.
Divide both sides by 6, and x cannot be
0.
0. Do we all understand that? Yes or no?
Do you always subtract 6? Or should you subtract 6?
How is the 6 attached to the x? How do you get rid of something that's attached by multiplication? Let's think forward.
I could have sworn we'd done something like that. We subtract 6 and add it to the other side. Are you sure we haven't done something? Oh, maybe I was thinking like x minus 6.
Was thinking. That's a good thing. Okay, now what do? I found my LCD, I found my restrictions. How do I solve this problem? I take the entire equation and I multiply by my LCD. Now, what operation do I do first? Multiplication or division? Division, because we want to eliminate that lovely little denominator. So what is 6x divided by 2x? What is 6x divided by 2x? 3. And bring down the 3. The jump. What is 6x divided by 3x?
2.
2. Bring down the jump, which is the 5. Now, do I have a fraction here? No. So do I multiply or divide? Multiply. So what's 6x times 2?
12x.
Ain't that pretty? Out there, grammar girls are out there bad.
I'm gonna need to do that later.
Anybody watch the Indian channel thing? When they're talking about your book program? Anybody understand?
Now, what do I do here? Get rid of all parentheses, right? So all I need to do here is take 3 times 3 is 9, 2 times 5 is 10, it's equal to 12x. What is 9 minus 10?
-1.
Negative 1. So I have negative 1 is equal to 12x, divided by 12, and negative 1/12 is equal to x. Is this a possible answer?
Yeah.
Why? Because what value can x not be?
0.
Well, did I come up with 0 again?
No.
No, I came up with negative 1/12, which means that is an answer. I mean, it's kind of close, but close to the only house
But
portion.
you don't see a 0.
And nuclear warfare.
And nuclear warfare. 28.
No, not paper here.
It's perfect for the little guy. you like that part on Pitch Perfect when the old guys are saying booty work?
Did you like that part in math? Remember we did the problem correctly the first time?
Why does it always come back to that?
I'm a math teacher.
But we didn't teach them
Okay. Now, what do we do here? Denominator, denominator. What's my LCD?
But there's a denominator and the top.
That's okay. Do I care about the top? I care about the bottom. So what is my LCD? 2 times x plus 3. So now what's my domain? My domain is going to be my LCD cannot be 0. So 2 cannot be 0 and x plus 3 cannot be 0. 2 not equaling 0. Is that an issue?
Yeah.
No. What about this one? X cannot be?
-3.
Negative 3.
That's what I was thinking.
So now I can have any number, but I cannot have what? Negative 3. Are we all good on that? Okay, so now,
What is this?
because does 2 ever equal 0?
Okay.
So is that ever going to be relevant? No. Okay, now, look at this problem. It's a little different than the previous problem. The reason why it's a little different is because I have a fraction equaling a fraction. When I have a fraction equaling a fraction, what operation or what quick little method do you think we can do? Cross multiplication. Don't do all that fancy multiplying to get rid of everything. Just simply do the math. What is 2 times 2? And then cross multiply x plus 3 times x minus 3.
Not that.
Clear.
Now what do I do with those parentheses?
Do you,
FOIL. What are those?
Perfect score.
They're opposites, which means they're conjugates. And what do we know about conjugates when you multiply them? The inner and outer cancel out, so that's going to give me x squared minus 9. Inner, outer. I should say first and last. Inner and outer would always cancel, sorry. First terms multiplied together gives you x squared. Last terms multiplied together gives you negative 9.
That's right. Whatever.
Zip the lips now. Negative 3x, positive 3x, minus 9. If you FOIL all together. Okay. Inner and outer will absolutely cancel out, and you're going to have the 4 is equal to the x squared minus 9. Okay? Now, I need to solve this thing for x. What do I do? Add 9. So if I add 9, I'm going to have 13 is equal to x squared. Take the square root of both sides. When I take the square root, I'm going to have x is equal to what?
Plus or minus.
Plus or minus the square root of 13. Now, why is it plus or minus? Because the degree of 2 tells me how many solutions I'm supposed to have, which is going to be 2 of them, right? And the fact that I'm taking the square root of both sides tells me that I have to immediately consider that a positive times a positive is a positive, and a negative times a negative is still a positive, so I have to consider that negative outcome. Now, is this a possible answer? Yes, because check it out. My only restriction is that x cannot be what value? But is that my answer? Nope. So therefore, that is the answer. We good?
Yep. What happens if it is further cold?
Let's talk about that. Shall we do this problem?
If you do all of it, we write it down.
That's going to help you.
Hey, it's on our homework, so. Yes.
Hey, this is in your homework.
Let's do it.
1992.
Or once.
This is what I did. It kind of helps. But it
I
also
think someone of a bad day. Normal day.
live in the dream.
You know this happens. You know what happens for yesterday.
Kind of starting to scare me.
You don't seem like it.
Live to serve my students.
Or you just try to act as professional as you can when you got the recorder on.
Professional. Strong word today.
Okay, now, I need to find my LCD. So how do I find my LCD?
You got a foil, so I can prove something.
It doesn't matter. Anytime you hear the word LCD, immediately you're talking about the denominator, which means you need to put things in their smallest simplified terms, right? X squared minus 7x plus 12 is not in its simplest form, is it? So I need to put that into 2 binomials. So what are those 2 terms that you're going to use?
Giving you a minute.
X minus 3, x minus 4. plus a negative 2. Why is that plus a negative 2? Because I changed the subtraction to what? Addition. Now, folks, I want you to notice something right here. This is actually negative x plus 3. We always like to see the x first, right?
Yes.
Now, does that look very similar to what we have in our previous parentheses?
X minus 3?
I have an x minus 3 and I have a negative x plus 3. I want them to be the same.
Oh, on this table.
Well, that would be our lunch.
Oh. What did you eat?
I just laid my head in the salt.
How do I make that into a positive x to the negative 3? Multiplying by negative 1, which means if I multiply by negative 1, that's going to give me positive x minus 3. Do we all see that, yes or no? If I pull out a negative 1, that's going to give me positive x minus 3. Is the last denominator factored completely?
Yeah.
It sure is. Now check out. Look at that middle fraction. What looks funky?
Two negatives.
2 negative make a
Positive.
positive. So what we have here is 5 over x minus 3 times x minus 4 plus a 2 over an x minus 3 is equal to 5 over an x minus 4. Negative divided by negative is a positive, so that's why that negative 2 over the negative 1 turns into a positive 2. So now at what point are we at? What do I need to locate now?
How did you take away the negative 1 but keep it x minus 3?
Because what I did is I calculated negative 2 divided by negative 1. Make sense?
Yep.
Are we good? Okay? Now, what's my LCD? X minus 3 times x minus 4. And from that come my what? My domain restrictions. My LCD cannot be 0, so x minus 3 cannot be 0, and x minus 4 cannot be 0. So what can x not be?
3 and 4.
X cannot be 3 or 4. Do you see what I see? Right up on the board?
You see the board and actually the board.
So.
You've been singing it since Christmas.
I can't help it. It just kind of comes out. Okay, now what do I do? What do I do?
For the chiropractor.
Well, you should do that. Multiply the entire thing by x minus 3, x minus 4. How many people are completely annoyed by the fact that I put that on the right-hand side?
Because you didn't have room.
It is totally legit. It's still the distributive property whether you put it on the right-hand side or the left-hand side. Do we all understand that?
Yeah. Gotcha.
For some of us who are very anal, that might bother us tremendously. Here we go. What cancels out when we go clear over there by that 5?
3x minus 4.
So what am I left with?
5x minus
Go to the next one. What cancels out? And what am I left with?
0.
I'm left with 2 times the x minus the 4 is equal to?
I don't know.
What cancels out there?
5 over
X minus 4.
5 times the x minus 3 is what's left. Very good. Now what, Bree? Bree says distribute, and we're going to. 5 plus 2x minus 8 is equal to 5x minus 15. All we did is distribute.
We need to count higher people.
You subtract 2x.
Combine like terms, 2x minus 3 is equal to 5x minus 15. Subtract the 2x and add the 15. I'm doing that in one step because I can, so that gives me 12 is equal to a 3x. And then 4 is equal to x.
They can't equal.
Why do we have a problem? We have a problem because up here, it says it can't be 4.
Well, then, don't listen to the first thing you got.
So if it cannot be 4, that means I gotta toss this bad boy out, and what's my only answer?
Probably
No
okay.
solution.
Sorry.
No solution.
I could have guessed that one to get into a problem.
Really? I forgot I had Einstein in here.
No. You That's back your
You
head.
keep on talking about me. I don't like it when people talk about me like that.
Here's the problem. By yourself now.
I didn't say I was Albert Einstein, I said I was Einstein.
Do you guys problem?
I don't get it.
Okay. We look at our little denominators. Many of you are still sitting there like, oh. LCD is going to be 6x, which means my domain restrictions are going to be what? 6x cannot be 0, so x cannot be 0. How many people got all that? Excellent. So now what we need to do is we need to multiply this entire equation by 6x. So 5 over 2x minus 2/3 is equal to 1 over x plus 5 over 6. So now what is 6x divided by 2x? 3. 3. Bring down 5. What is 6x divided by 3? 2x. That's minus 2x times a 2, which is the jump. What is 6x divided by x? 6. And bring down the jump, which is the 1. What is 6x divided by 6? X, and bring down the 5. So now I need to get rid of all what? Parentheses. This is going to be 15 minus 4x is equal to 6 plus 5x. Yes? I am going to add the 4x and subtract the 6 from both sides at the same time. Why? Because I can. 15 minus 6 gives me a 9. That's gone, and that gives me a 9x.
Very good read.
And divide both sides by 9, so 1 is equal to x. So now, folks, is that in my domain restrictions? No, is it legit? Yes, that is my answer. Do we understand that? Yes? Uh-huh, that was the easy one. Here's the hard one, get them out and out.
Why you have me like this?
Because that's the way I roll.
Why you don't help me?
I just did help you, Sonny. Okay, first thing what we gotta do. This 4 minus x, is that ugly? Yeah. So make that thing a negative x plus a 4. Which means, so if I'm looking at this thing, I have an x plus 3 down here, that minus goes where? With the negative 3. Now, what am I going to do with that jump? Pull out that negative 1 and make that an x minus a 4. Is equal to 2x minus 2 hangs out, and that trinomial turns into what? What is it? X plus 3, x minus 4. You do not have to touch the numerator at all. Okay? We only focus on the denominator. Now, what is going on with this junk right here? That becomes a positive, so I have 2 over x plus 3 plus 3 over x minus 4 is equal to 2x minus 2 over x plus 3 times x minus 4. My LCD is what again? Which means now I have restrictions, correct? What's my domain restrictions?
Negative 3.
X cannot be negative 3 or positive 4. Do we understand that?
You just did the moonwalk?
No, I can't turn back.
Well, it looks like a moonwalk from there, so like, you can see your feet.
Okay, are we ready now? So I take every single thing and multiply it by x plus 3, x minus 4. This is for you, Kara. Yeah, you're coming. So now, what cancels? I have 2 times x minus 4,
So I do well a lot.
You can give me this one.
just so that everybody knows where I'm from.
Yeah, so it looks like you're.
And what happens there? X plus 3. The x minus 4's cancel, and I'm stuck with the x plus 3 still. It's equal to, what's the last one here?
2x minus.
Okay, folks, what do I need to do?
Strip you.
2x minus 8 plus 3x plus 9 is equal to 2x minus 2. CLT, combine like terms, 2x and 3x, 5x, negative 8 and 9 give me h plus 1 is equal to 2x minus 2.
Then you subtract 2x.
Subtract 2x, subtract 1, I'm going to have 3x. That's gone, is equal to, that's gone, is equal to a negative 3.
Divide by 3.
X is equal to negative 1. Is that possible?
Yes.
Check my restrictions. Yeah. We be rocking. There's your homework for tonight. Write it down.
Body rocking in the.
No, you gotta do black.
Purple is for.
Purple is my seniors. The black is for my juniors.
Lose your mind.
Okay, tomorrow you guys are gonna have a worksheet in class. Okay?
I think you gave us enough for it.
Yes, I'll be here.
Yeah.
What do we do for it?
Now, oh, I like that.
You bet.
I'll come to your funeral.
Okay with it.
I won't.
Now, with that said, tomorrow you have both book assignments done. I will answer any and all questions you have for both book assignments tomorrow. Any questions over what I just said?
Do we get to check the
I gave you odds because the answers are where. Is there anybody who should not have this homework done correctly tonight?
Yes.
Yesterday's assignment, I will give you answers. Okay? Tomorrow.
Hey, Yoda.
Hey, I'm sorry.